Hey everybody, hope you're having a good day. Just taking a quick coffee break out here in the backyard. You see my mess behind me. I save all these scraps of wood for chopping and cutting tests and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, now you see my dirty little secret. Everything is wet because the sprinklers are running. So anyhow, doing some coffee break and wanted to talk about briefly. That is some good coffee. There's been a couple of emails I've gotten recently and questions on like Instagram and YouTube and stuff about hollow handled knives. And this is an age old thing, right? The hollow handled survival knife. As you know, if you follow my videos or channels or whatever it is, the content that I put out, obviously I make my living primarily selling hollow handled survival knives. So one of the things that's always come up, and I'll try and condense this into a nutshell for those that haven't been involved in the knife world. The hollow handled survival knife has been around for a very long time, decades. It really got huge with Rambo 1, First Blood, and then it just kind of blew up from there. So what happened is the flea markets and every little swap meet started selling these junk overseas knockoffs that were just absolute garbage. They were built and designed and made very poorly. Okay, so what happened is that caused a lot of these knives to break off at the handle and the tang. The handle would either come unloose, it would come unscrewed, it would go flying off. The blades were designed poorly, heat treated poorly. It was just a horrible concept executed horribly. So ever since then, people have been extremely, wary, if you will, about hollow-handled survival knives. Rightly so, I get it. I am unaware of many more than maybe a handful of quality handmade or quality manufactured hollow-handled survival knives. I'm doing this in the backyard, so we're going to get some road noise. Hollow-handled survival knives that have broken off or had the handles detach or whatever. It's very rare. It can happen to any knife, whether it's a hidden tang, a full tang, whatever. Any and all knives can break due to unseen flaws, whether they be microscopic or design flaw or whatever. But done properly, there should be a very, very low failure rate for hollow-handled knives, full tang, hidden tang, all of them. It really boils down more to design and using quality materials. And those were two things that were sorely lacking in those cheap, junky ones from the flea market back in the 80s. So we fast forward to today. The whole point of this, and I'm going to do a better video at some point, but I was just sitting down taking a break, watching some Hunter and McCall in the background in the shop there, and thought I'd bust this out real quick to demonstrate this. But let me get one more sip of coffee. Okay, let's put that over there. We're going to demonstrate this very, very simply without using a knife and hardened steel and making this much more difficult than it has to be. If you follow, again, my social media accounts, I just put up a video earlier this morning, a couple of hours ago, of me taking an axe handle and just mercilessly beating on one of my SS1 hollow-handled survival knives, Techline knives from GearConvoy.com. It didn't give, man, and I'm not saying they can't be broken. They absolutely can. Any and everything can be broken if you go at it the right way. That's not what we're trying to do. We're not trying to make unbreakable knives here. I could make my knives even stronger than they are if I wanted to, but they're already at a point where it's like, why don't we make our cars bulletproof? Wouldn't everyone prefer and love to have a bulletproof car? Well, sure, that'd be awesome. But number one, is it really needed? How many people are really driving their vehicles into, a hailstorm of hail of bullets on a regular basis or at all? And it's going to drive up weight, cost, and a number of other things, okay? So you reach a point where you have to find the happy medium of how strong does this need to be for a knife, which is its primary purpose. The primary intended purpose of my knives are to be knives, to cut and to slice, not to be demolition tools or to be unbreakable. So let's get on with the demonstration here. This is one of my bush steels, but it happens to fit this dowel rod almost perfectly. So there's a nice tight interface there. All right, this will be our guard. Now, the point of this is this. I typically, my tangs go in about an inch or so. And anyone can find this out. If you buy one of my knives, you can take it apart if you want. You're going to need some kind of power tool, but you can do it. And by power tool, I simply mean it's not just going to be hand tools. They're going to be some sort of power source, whether it's propane, acetylene, batteries, or electricity to get one of those suckers apart without really tearing it up. But anyway, they only go in about an inch, which is all that's necessary, and here's why. Okay, so let's do this. That is about an inch right there, okay? We put this on here. Now I'm going to purposely break this. This guard is going to do nothing. It's just showing us where the inch or where the marker is, okay? Where did it break? It didn't break down here. It broke right there at the juncture. That's where the flexion is going to be. Okay? Everything on one of my knives, everything inside this handle is fully supported on every single surface. It's not just stuffed in there and filled in with glue or epoxy. Every single surface is fully supported by steel or aluminum. Okay? So it's not just going to be wobbling around there breaking. Now, so it broke right at an inch. But where did it break at? Right at that juncture, because that's where the flexion occurs. Let's go ahead and double it. Let's say, because some guys are like, oh, I want to have a 2-inch tang, so I got all the strength I need, or 3-inch, whatever. Great, let's do it. You can see where this is going already, I'm sure. All right, so that's about 2 inches, give or take. Okay. No fakery or tomfoolery there. Put it on. Oh, where did it break? Oh, guys, where did it break? Right behind the guard, where the handle and the guard interface with each other at that juncture. Guys, this is not rocket surgery. It's not some unknowable, mystical secret. This is simple, basic physics. Okay? Very basic physics. And I'm not trying to be condescending or to be a douche, but I just want to be clear. People are frequently worried about the wrong things in the wrong place with hollow-handled survival knives. Okay? So, again, this assumes and is predicated upon you having designed and built the knife properly first. It's going to break there. How is it going to break anywhere in here? It's supported by steel or aluminum at that point. Let's go one step even further. Let's go, because if you're going to have a 2-inch tang, why not have a 3-inch tang? If you're going to have a 3-inch tang, why not have a 4-inch tang? Okay, so that's probably about 4 to 5 inches, give or take. Okay? Put this on there. Interface that. You can see it sticking out the other side. Where do you think? Just go out on a limb here. Where do you think it's going to break at? What do you think? Let's find out. See? Right there. At the handle juncture. It doesn't, this is basic physics. The longer the lever you are making, honestly, what you're really doing to it in a certain way, by adding a longer tang, you're really making it easier to break the tang. Okay, that's not an exaggeration, because we know the law of the lever. The longer that lever is, the more torque you can, or excuse me, yeah, I guess the more torque you would say, or more force, depending on whether it's a rotational manner or not, the more force you can exert on that thing, on the lever, the longer it is, right? Would you rather break a matchstick or, a 1 or 2 foot long stick? Of course, the longer it is, the more leverage you have. And that's what we're proving right there. This is a very rudimentary way of putting it. And there are some minor exceptions for certain physical laws and applications. But basically, that's it. What it really matters more than anything in most of these cases is making sure that whatever method you use to attach your handle to your guard and to your blade tang is that is nice and strong. Because if that is strong and can't move right there, if you just shove it in there and pump it full of epoxy, you already have a joint that's going to flex some more than if it was reinforced by steel or aluminum and it was drawn up nice and tight. Okay? That's going to be far more critical. But where it's going to happen is right there. Everything inside is supported by steel, aluminum, epoxy, and so forth. Everything on this side is full thickness blade, so it's either going to break right there at the plunge line, or where it becomes weaker as you grind into the steel, or it's going to break right there where it joins in almost every single case. Okay, so a shorter tang is actually better, and it gives you more storage. What's the point of having these things if you can't even put a strike anywhere match in there? So that's my take on it. I'll do a more advanced video some other time. If you got any feedback or thoughts or comments, let me know. I don't want to argue. I don't want to make anybody else look bad. This video is not directed at anybody or any company or person. I want you to see when you've done all the testing that I have over the years. And I mean, I've beaten these things to death. I put them in vices, torches, the whole shebang. You see where they wind up failing when you push them to failure. The longer tang is not going to be your salvation. So anyway, that's that. Hope you're having a good day. We'll try and work out. Everybody seemed to like the new shop kitty, Cobra. So if you haven't seen him, he's in our story today. If not, I'm sure we'll work on more shop videos because everybody loved him. And they were sending us messages how much they love Cobra, the little black kitten that we just got for the shop here. So that's going to do it. Hope you guys have a good one, and I will catch you later. Remember, the longer tang is not the key. All right, guys. Have a good one and stay safe out there.